the Progressive People's Party has accused the Nana Akufo-Addo administration of undermining the local governance system, particularly the authority and fiscal capabilities of various assemblies. The accusation came on the heel of a recent action taken by the administration to determine how District Assembly Common Fund is to be distributed. The PPP argues the move will kill local initiative and impede infrastructure development, especially at the assemblies. They are therefore demanding a clear roadmap for the election of MMDCEs, which government has postponed to 2021 from an initial promise it will be executed in 2018. I have in the studio National Chairman of the party, the PPP, Ni Alote Hamonte. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Now, with all these accusations, I'm tempted to ask you whether or not you've heard government's defense on the reason why they've had to shift the date to 2021. Have you?
Oh, yes, I've heard, but do I believe? That's another question you ought to ask. But I don't believe.
So an issue of belief and whether or not it makes sense.
Ask me why I don't believe.
You don't believe it?
Yes, but ask me why I don't believe.
Okay.
Because in 2004, the NPP had it in their manifesto, and the President Akufo that they were going to have the position elected. Did they do it? No, they didn't. In 2008, when candidate Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was contesting for the presidency, he was asked at the IEA debate why that was not done, and now they still have it in their 2008 manifesto. Listen to his response. He said he didn't quite believe in it 100%. That is the position he's taking, campaigning for the 2016 election, claiming that even after their NPP manifesto has said 2019, he went on numerous times to say 2018. As a candidate, as a president-elect, and as president, he kept saying 2018. Where were these others when he was mentioning 2018? Didn't they remind him that, well, our manifesto was said 2019. Oh, but you can't even do it 2019. We'll do it 2020.
But then to be fair,
why would they make him look like a liar?
But then to be fair to everybody, you'd admit that sometimes you have plans. But when you get to where you have to execute the plans and you realize that there are problems or there are things that could be, that could impede, the progress of your plan, then you need to reposition. Don't you think, in fairness, that's what they're doing?
Yes. If that was what had happened in 2004, and then come into 2008, he didn't believe in it, but now is in office. He quickly put things in place because he wanted to do a referendum on the regions. He's put things in place. This is not on his radar. He will just say it. He has told us already, all die be die. So he's just saying it so he can win election. What we've been made to understand, will not do anything with it.
What we've been made to understand is that there has to be a constitutional process, a legal backing to all of these things, and that takes time.
But do you know that these legal backings that he is referring to only affects Article 55? There is 242 and 243. That does not require a referendum.
What do they say? What do those articles say?
Those articles just confer the appointment of the chief executive under the presidency. And that can be amended in Parliament without going to the referendum. It's Article 55. That is an entrenched clause. That denies the political parties the right to sponsor.
But they're saying that the best way to get this done is to make it a partisan process.
Well, that is what we also believe, that it ought to have been partisan. But in their manifesto, they say within 24 months, we're going to make it happen.
Let's move from the manifesto, because you've made the point with the manifesto, but the point they're making here is that going partisan is the right way to go. In the meantime, you're just drawing my attention to the Article 5, which you say 55, which you say has an entrenched position about politicization. So don't you think they're trying to do the right thing here?
But didn't they think about it when they were writing the manifesto?
Well, what does that, if we're looking at getting the right things done?
Yes, and the right things should go into our manifestos.
Well, but you can say something.
Unless we are all going to die again.
No, maybe you don't have the benefit of all available information. Now you get into power.
You are diminishing our manifestos. There is no point in writing a manifesto if that is how you're going to argue for.
No, let's look at this case.
Yes, I'm looking at it.
Let's look at this case on its merit. Now, the case is that we're trying to do a process, or to get a process, roll out a process.
Which you should have thought of before.
Very well. That process, I think that if you look at what the manifesto says, it probably did not expect that it probably did not expect that it will have to be partisan, that the process will have to be partisan.
What were they thinking when they
for
wrote
us
that?
as a country to make the most of it.
Now
they've realized it. Now what's wrong with realizing that you did something wrong and going back to correct it?
There is nothing wrong. Only when you are lying, then there's something wrong.
So the PPP's position is that
they lie.
Is that the NPP has lied?
It will not happen in 2021, trust me.
So what do you expect to be done now?
I'm seeing that if at all it will happen, 2023. If at all it will happen. Because they're going to keep shifting the can.
So what does the PPP want? You're accusing them of the party of...
We want the honor of Nana Akufo-Addo to be maintained. He has promised the chiefs and people of the central region that in 2018, the elections process will take place. Even when their manifesto said 2019, he kept saying 2018. We want him to honor his word.
Okay.
And we will do everything we can to help him honor his word, to save his face.
What are some of the things you consider doing
to
make him honor his word?
Well, it's to make him aware that he is appearing to be a liar to the people of Ghana if he is not able to honor that promise to the chiefs and people of the central region.
Okay. You also talked about how they are trying to determine how district assemblies or how the assemblies spend their money.
Precisely.
What? Give me the highlight of your concerns.
Well, the concern is that,
apart from
again, we're going back to our constitution. Article 252 of our constitution has stipulated what needs to be created for the district assemblies. A fund that needs to be created for the assemblies. And it says 5%, a minimum of 5% of our national resources should accrue into the fund for distribution to all of the assemblies. Now, this 5% that ought to be distributed to the assembly is all 100%, all. The 252 says all, it didn't say some. Here we are being told by the fund administrator that in 2018, it is some of this common fund that is going to go to the assemblies. And that sum is 20%. And another 20% will go to food for planting and jobs. Another
planting for food and jobs. 40% to free SHS.
No, not free SHS. It's for school feeding. And then another 20 to...
Why is that a problem?
Because that is not how it's supposed to be distributed. All 100% is supposed to go to the assembly. Why are they sending the assembly 20%? When the Article 252 says all 100% must go to the assembly.
What is
There's a problem there.
What is the PPP's proposal of how to deal with this going forward?
Going forward is to remind the administration that they are infringing on the Constitution, Article 252, that they should do what the framers of the Constitution envisaged to be done, that all 100% should go to the 254 assemblies.
Do you think that the party, your party, reminding government of this will make any difference?
Oh, well,
do you envisage?
We are in a democracy. We are doing what we can to alert them. You ought to do the same. You know, the media, the fourth estate of the democratic system, you have to do your part. And I believe that the opposition party too will do their part. And collectively, we will get the administration to know its folly, so that it can change its ways. Because if it doesn't and continues to distribute the common fund as they have alerted us, we might go to court to get Supreme Court to interpret Article 252.
How soon do you intend to go to court? Because as far as we're concerned...
As soon as we see them disperse.
Well, okay.
Because that will have actualized their intention.
Okay.
Right now, we don't know whether they are going to disperse it as they have told us or not.
Or not.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hammond, give us your very final word, if you have any.
Well, what I have is that Ghana is for all of us. That's the only country we have. We have created a constitution to guide our footsteps. I think that all of us have to help honor the provisions in the constitution. And if there are provisions in there that we feel are inimical to our progress, we need to amend them. And that amendment process has already been initiated. We have Professor Dankwa's Constitution Implementation Committee has done 99% of the work with all the bills and things that need parliamentary approvals and those that should go to referendum. Where is it? I don't think even the media is asking for a copy of that. And I blame you for the state of the country as it is today.
Oh, is it? Anyway, Mr. Hammond, thank you very much for coming. Alote Hammond is the national chairman for the PPP, speaking on the election of the MMDCEs and the distribution of the District Assembly Common Fund.